Not surprised. I know you said Spencer Fury wasn't surprised either when you had him on, but I did it. I wanted Fury to win as the Brit, as a Fury fan.
Yeah.
And I thought at one point, round 6, round 7, he was winning the fight and turning the screw, and then out of nowhere, Usyk he got that unbelievable fitness, and it come probably down to his training and his dedication. Doesn't cut corners, and he just turned the screw and turned the screw and turned the screw, knocked Fury down obviously onto the ropes. So credit to him, and Usyk's a formidable guy, and you can only give him credit. And I think the rematch is going to be amazing.
What mistakes do you think Tyson Fury made in that fight?
I spoke to Jimmy Tibbs about this, legendary trainer, obviously, dad of my trainer, Mark Tibbs. And he said, yeah, he looked good. He lost weight, but not always good to lose weight as a heavyweight. He might have been better off being 19, 20 stone. I don't know what their plan was in the camp. I'm not an expert on their camp. I'm not trying to tell them what to do, but it made sense to me. If you're a big guy, you might not look body beautiful. You never will. And maybe that bit of weight might have helped him. Could have hindered him. Could have made him a bit slower. But sometimes losing weight lowers your punch resistance. You haven't got as much energy. You might look a bit better, but it might just be a little bit of an aesthetic thing rather than an actual fitness thing, you know. Look at there's been some massive guys in the past. George Foreman, when he came back, was a big old unit. Larry Holmes hasn't always been the most ripped guy, you know. You don't have to be completely chiselled or thingy to... You have to be completely chiselled to be a great fighter. Some fighters are naturally like that, but being a bigger guy, sometimes you've got to use that weight, and maybe coming in a stone or two heavier wouldn't have been a bad thing.
What does Tyson need to do differently apart from the weight this time?
That uppercut he was throwing was really effective when he was throwing that. I thought that was good. Maybe a little bit less showboating, but that's why we love Tyson Fury, because he is like that. And if he won that fight, we would have been singing his praises, saying he showboated at the same time. But that can all make a difference. That's another 2-3%. Maybe would have helped some energy down the line. But he's the bigger man. You've got to use that as best you can and keep sticking that big jab in his face, whether it's a big hard jab or a sticky little annoying jab, you know. Use that, and then you can blind him with that, and we'll keep bringing that uppercut, because I thought them uppercuts were beautiful he was hitting him with.
It was a shock when Usyk hit him straight on the face. But it just felt like something.
I was gutted.
Even he felt like that. I was like, my heart was going down. It's like watching the England match and they're gone down. Know. You know what I mean? That's how I felt.
I can't believe how he stayed up, Fury. You've got to give him credit for that. And he saw it through, because a big man like that, getting caught like that, and the energy it takes to stay up, he's a fighting man. And we've got to remember he's had 3 fights with Wilder, and Wilder's a shell of what he used to be. And you've got to ask yourself, how much of them fights taken out of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, especially the 3rd fight. That was an all-out war. And as a professional boxer, and especially a heavyweight, you can only have so many wars like that before it catches up with you, you know?
Why?
Wear and tear, big old unit. Human beings aren't designed to smash each other up like that, especially 20 stone guys, 16 stone, 17 stone plus. You can't take severe punishment like that, getting punched on the head. It's not healthy, is it? That's the bottom line, to be getting punched in the head repetitively, especially by the big guys. So you can only go to the well so many times, and Fury's probably only got 1 or 2 more times to do it.
So what do you think of someone like Mike Tyson stepping in the ring again against Jake Paul?
I think it's a farce. I think it's an absolute joke. And it's not happened, and I'm glad it's not happened. Almost 60 years old. I used to like Jake Paul. I used to think, he's doing something quite good, trying to dedicate himself, but I've got no time for it. I think it's all quite rubbish now.
What do you think of that whole scene of influencer boxing, misfits, all of that?
It's not boxing, it's entertainment. Fair play to them. Make their money. That's fantastic, but I don't regard it as boxing. I regard it as sort of wrestling style entertainment. And yeah, it is entertaining. Sometimes you watch it and you think, that's a laugh, but it can never be taken seriously, ever. And that's the danger, though. Like young kids coming through now will look on my TikTok comments. They'll be like, when you're fighting Jake Paul, you should fight Tommy Fury. And like they don't understand what we have to go through as professional boxers. I know Jake Paul trains really hard, KSI, and fair play to him for making loads and loads of money, and they're great businessmen. But I mean, come on, fighting a 60-year-old nearly Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, I've got no time for that.
How do you think that plays out? Because it is scheduled for November.
I think, well, considering that Mike Tyson had to be taken off a plane, didn't he, for having heart problems, I don't think they should be sanctioned at all, ever. It's wrong.
Who is your favourite boxer of all time?
I've got a few. Lennox Lewis being one of them.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Rocky Marciano.
Yeah.
Old classic guy. The modern guys, Joshua, Fury, love them two the most.
There's no Tyson in there? Mike Tyson?
Oh, Mike Tyson, unbelievable. But in terms of my favourites, probably Lennox Lewis, someone like that, Vitaly Klitschko. But Mike Tyson, in his prime, watched him 18, 19, 20 years old, smashing people up who were like 10 years older than him, getting a world title at 20 years old. Unbelievable.
Johnny, a big name has just been dropped. Yeah, everyone's talking about Chisora and you.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's just like putting you straight into that
Another
mix
legend.
now. He's like, you know, War Chisora, they call him, don't him? He's like a real veteran. Couldn't believe he beat Joyce. Couldn't believe that.
Yeah, I thought Joyce would be able to deal with him, but Chisora just keeps coming back. He's had 2 wins on the... Is it 2 wins on the bounce now? Who did he fight before? He fought someone else recently, but he just keeps coming back, and if he's still winning, Joe Joyce is a great name to have on your resume. So I've got a lot of time for Derek Chisora. He's a legend, and people have been bounding our names around. Eddie being the main man who's been doing that, and I feel a bit disrespectful to thinking like I'm calling for that fight. So I'm not calling for it, but if Derek Chisora came and said, let's have a fight at the O2, let's set it out, I want to do it, I wouldn't say no. It would be an honour to share the ring with Derek Chisora, and I think I'd have a good chance in. I'm not saying I'd win it, but I'll give a good account of myself, you know?
Yeah. How much of a task is it for Chisora being a 40-year-old?
That's the problem. Maybe if it was 3-4 years ago, I'd feel slightly differently. But age waits for time waits for no man, and he's been in some grueling fights, and I think Del Boy's a great character, and I think he's a unbelievable guy, unbelievable for British boxing. He'll go down and be remembered by a lot of people, and time waits for no man.
How important is timing in terms of when you're facing your next opponent? You know, if you go straight for Chisora, where do you go from there? You might be able to, you know, face an opponent like that. You might be able to get through a war like that and show a lot of, you know, toughness. But is it too fast, too soon? Because you've had all these first-round knockouts. Not sure how much experience you're getting in the sort of actual ring. Fighting Chisora, imagine beating him. Where do you go from that?
That's the thing. It's not an immediate fight. It's whether it's just an idea that's been bounded about. I've obviously got Rudenko locked in for my next fight. That could give me some great experience. He could be he'd probably be my toughest fight to date. And then you assess from there. It's very important, as you say. You've got to look at one fight at a time. And all that's on my mind right now is beating Rudenko whenever that happens in the next month or two.
How does it feel like when you're training for a fight? You've got your trainer there, you've got a manager there, you've got a whole team around you. What happens when you're in that ring and you're alone all of a sudden?
That's it. That's the name of the game, isn't it? Like, it doesn't matter how... This is the thing with boxing. It's quite unique in a way. You don't have 10 other football players on the pitch. You don't have 14 other rugby players. If you cut corners, it's going to show. And if you're moaning about coaches, trainers, managers, it's up to you to put them all into line, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to be seen in the ring and be accountable for what's happened in the camp. So you've got to take an onus on that and be the boss. Unfortunately, without sounding arrogant or belittling the other people, you've got to be in control, because the only person it comes down on when it all goes wrong is you. That's the bottom line. And you're the one who takes the punches in the head. No one else does. Not your manager, not your trainer, not your promoters, not your strength and conditioning coaches. They're all part of your team, but the one who's going to be getting punched in the face is you.
Does it ever get to you mentally?
No. I love it. I absolutely love what I do. I get to go up and train every day. I love training. It keeps my head screwed on. If I couldn't train, I think I don't know what I'd do. It keeps me sane, for like it does for a lot of people. So yeah, I absolutely love the ability that I've got to go and train and do something I love every day.
Before you're ready to challenge for a major title, what milestone do you feel that you need to hit?
I don't think of it in that way, Sean. I don't think I have to hit anything. I think the map is in my destiny of where I'm meant to go. All I have to worry about is winning the next fight. There's no milestone I think of in my head that I think, well, I've got to do this amount of this or do that. It's all mapped out already. All I've got to do is dedicate myself 110%, and then the rest will follow.
I like going to the gym myself.
Yeah.
I go there every morning,
Yeah.
maybe 5-6 times a week.
Yeah.
It keeps me happy.
Yeah.
I like to think I train hard.
Yeah.
You know, one day like I have my 2 days where I do my 5K
Yeah.
runs.
Yeah.
I do my bodybuilding on 2 other days, and then
Nice.
a couple of other days I do a Pilates, yoga, get the
It's good to do that.
stretch
All the
out.
flexibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All of them things.